Hi everyone, it's me again. A month later or two since my last video. No, I think it was actually only 1 month. So I think I'm not doing that bad compared to the past couple of years, but if you guys might have noticed, first my hair is black and gray. So yeah, that's different. I really like it. Hope you guys do too. If you don't, well, I'm not gonna change it. In my old bedroom right now, also because there's no one home right now, so I figured I might as well go back to where I had the best lighting in the house, aka my old bedroom. I thought I would address the title of this video, I guess, where I'm basically gonna talk about how I gained 20 pounds in 5 weeks, in a month. As you guys might have known or are aware of, I relapsed with anorexia in February. And I was doing pretty shitty, to be honest, up until 5 weeks ago. Really wanted to film this video because some of you, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've been dealing with this for a long time. I started making videos in 2012, I think. January 2013, I think, was my first video, actually. But, sorry if I'm moving around. I don't even know, whatever. I'm gonna try not to touch my hair, too, because that's, yeah, I can't do that anymore. It's annoying. So I had lost a lot of weight, and yeah, my BMI was not doing so well, and my heart was slowing down, my blood pressure was low, etc., etc. But all those things are not what made me gain 20 pounds, because those of you have been in treatment for a while or have had your fair amount of relapses, you know that no relapse is the same, and that it can be kind of hard to get yourself out of that cycle of restricting, doing better, restricting, doing better. Is that this time around I approached it completely differently than I ever have before, which is what I wanted to talk about in this video, because it worked really well for me. What happened was, at the end of July, I had a situation that I guess was kind of a wake-up call. A situation that really shook me up. There were a variety of situations going on, actually. But one in particular really shook me up, which I will not talk about because that's not the point of the video. That event, situation, really made me reevaluate my priorities in life. Because the thing is that I was never really depressed this time around with my relapse. I was more so really anxious. But the depression wasn't really present until the last couple weeks of July, where I started to get really depressed, which was a symptom of being severely malnourished. There wasn't enough serotonin in my brain because there was no food coming in to do all that jazz. I'm not going to get into my psychology major stuff, but that's the gist of it. Is that when you really don't eat for a long time or whatever, it's normal for you to get depressed. Once that situation happened, I had no choice but to figure it out and to continue moving on, because I knew that I wasn't depressed and I didn't want to end my life. I was just fed up of being in the situation, and then I was like, well, I'm in control, which is something that I say a lot, but this time it was more of, I'm in control of my life. I am in control of my actions. I am in control of my actions. I am in control of making the right actions towards positive life. So then, after that, I used that external motivation to kickstart my recovery. I don't know what would have happened if that situation hadn't happened, but I'm very grateful for it to have happened, looking back. So thank you if you're watching this video. Who knows? But what matters is right now. So right now, I'm doing really well. I gained 20 pounds in 5 weeks. And you know what? I'm okay with it. My relapse this time is very, very different in the sense that I had a lot of insight into my eating disorder because I had already been through it once or twice or how many times you want to say I relapsed, but yeah, there was no, and I never relapsed as bad as I had in February before. So it was like the first time kind of going through a real relapse, but I knew everything. I had already, my hand was really weird. In therapy, I had remembered everything and stuff like that. And like I knew what I had to do to get better. And I knew that all I had to do was restart eating, and then once this eating restarted, then I'd be able to deal with like my emotions and everything like that. I knew all of that. But there was something blocking me that I wasn't able to do it until my external motivation came around. And I'll give you guys examples of what an external motivation could be, just because I very much doubt that any of you are in the situation that I was in, so I'm not going to share my situation, but I can give you other examples that I've heard from other people, such as recovering for a member of the family. Like for me, the first time that I was sick, I wanted to recover for my mom. It could also be you're recovering because you have a goal in mind, like it has to be something concrete. That's what I've learned, is that you can't just say like I'm going to recover because I want a family in the future unless you want one right now. But that's not concrete enough for it to actually happen. I want to be able to go on a trip, like to a certain place on December X, and I need to be at this point to be able to go. So like set yourself concrete, realistic goals. So my example of what I'm about to give, how I did this, is kind of extreme and it might scare a lot of you guys away. Because if I had heard myself like 5 years ago saying this, I would have been like, hell no. But I'm really glad I did it this time around, and I strongly recommend it, because it worked for me, but like, it's iffy. I've done a couple key points as to what I did, but yeah, I'm not really sure where I'm going with this. Hopefully this video is coherent, makes sense, because mentally and physically I'm doing so much better right now, and I would be really disappointed if I still sound like an airhead. And yeah, let's get started, I guess. Sorry that was like a 10-minute intro as to how I'm doing and stuff, but I guess it was necessary. First point, the first thing I did, once I found that motivation to make an action to be better, the first thing I did was eat. Surprise, surprise. But not only did I just eat, I kind of went into the mindset that like I am ugly at this weight and I liked my body at a healthy weight, so I want to get back there. Now this I understand is difficult for a lot of people with eating disorders, because a lot of people with eating disorders struggle with bad body image. But for me, I had been well enough for a long enough period of time that I was able to finally start to love my body and like accept it for how it was, and like even appreciate it, and like look at myself and be like, wow, I'm good, I'm looking good, or stuff like that. But like I was lucky to, or I was fortunate enough to be able to get to that stage of recovery. So when I relapsed, I always had that image in the back of my mind, that I remember telling myself that I looked good when I weighed X amount of pounds more. So I kept that as a motivation, as like superficial as that sounds, but that was like how to get myself to eat in the first place, and how to make myself want to gain weight, because for me it's anorexia that I've always dealt with, so there's always a certain amount of weight for me to gain if I relapse. And basically I had to gain 15 pounds, 15-ish pounds to be considered healthy weight, and I overshot that by 5, which is totally fine too. I gained weight by really fast, by eating in a caloric surplus. Now, I know everyone with eating disorders knows how many calories are in everything. Well, not everyone, obviously, that's dumb. Not everyone knows, but a lot of people with eating disorders know how many calories are in something. So why don't we use that to our advantage? So what I did was I kind of played a game with myself. I tried to literally take the eating disorder out of my mind. I do not know if this is making any sense at all, but this is how I spoke to myself in order to do the actions. Because it's one thing to think that you're doing something, but then it's a whole other to do it. You can tell yourself you're doing something all you want, but unless you're actually doing it, it's not happening. I told myself I need to realistically actually reach 3,000 calories a day. Now that, for me, pause, was a realistic goal because I was that determined to get my weight back up ASAP. But, had I been, I don't know, in a different, like, state of motivation, I would have probably only increased a bit, like, more gradually, but I felt ready to just kind of plunge into it, into recovery, and go for it. So it really depends. You're never going to feel ultimately ready, but I felt pretty much fed up of everything that was going on, and I kind of felt like I had no choice. I implied to myself that I had no choice, which I always had a choice, and I know that, but I continued to like tell myself that I have no choice, It's non-negotiable. Eating is non-negotiable. I wouldn't let my students ever practice with having skipped a meal before practice or anything like that. So like, why would I do it to myself? So I did that. I played a game with myself, telling like myself that, you know, you can eat whatever you want and the higher the calories, the better. That's literally what I did. It's not that complicated to gain weight. You know that like a normal person needs about like 2,000-ish calories a day to function. I always knew that I needed a bit more than that. That's also why I like aimed for 3,000, because that's what I was maintaining between 2,500 and 3,000 calories a day before anyways. So I knew that I had to shoot pretty high up. I stocked up on the higher calorie boosts, so like Ensures, like those meal replacement drug things, because in the beginning my anxiety was so bad that I could not chew and swallow without gagging. Like the actual reflex of gagging, like I couldn't physically bring food down. That's how anxious I was, and that's how quickly I got full too. So I found the easiest thing in the beginning was drinking like smoothie stuff, high calorie meal replacement stuff. Pretty sure there were a couple days where I went through like 2 cases of Boosts, but that's okay. But then soon after that, I got tired of the taste and I was down to try actual food. What did I even start with? I started with the most, actually with actual food. I graduated, or I moved on to ice cream after the Boosts, because ice cream goes down pretty easily, especially if you've been starving yourself for a while and you've been craving ice cream. You could eat tubs and tubs. You'd be good. So I know that this is, like, if you're a nutritionist watching this, you must be, like, facepalming so bad. But, so don't take my word for any of this, but that's what I did, and right now my heart is beating really well. My blood pressure is perfect. My blood tests are perfect. All my stuff is perfect, so I guess I'm not doing that bad. But this is just what worked for me. Don't take my word. After the ice cream, then I started eating like normal people food, like for actual meals. Like I started off with a lot of pasta and a lot of cream sauce. Now that's funny because even before this relapse, I was still afraid of cream sauce. But that is something I've gotten over in the past month, which is kind of weird, but kind of nice because I did not let myself have any cream sauce like my entire life. Like I always told my mom that I didn't like cream sauce, but like that's just because I always thought it was too fattening, like even when I was little. Now, if she's watching this, she knows, I like cream sauce, so that's bomb. That's what I've been eating, that's what I had for lunch, that's what I had last night for dinner, and yesterday for lunch. Basically, I loaded up on higher calorie foods, and gobbled that up, and ate until I could not eat anymore. Right now, my digestion has gotten a lot better. And I do get hungry now and stuff like that at like normal times. But yeah, in the beginning I also went through a huge stage of extreme hunger. First couple of days I was really anxious, couldn't get any food down, but after that I got so hungry all the time. All the time. Like one day I counted how many calories I'd eaten, and it was almost 4,000. And I was like, okay, I always ate a lot, but like this is a whole new level. Like I feel like I'm emptying our fridge, and I was. But that was fine because my body just needed it apparently. So what actually happened with my weight gain, if you guys are curious, is that the first day or two, I didn't gain anything, even though I was eating 3,000 plus a day. Come day 2 or 3, I started to gain slowly, like 1 pound, 2 pounds, 0.5. Sometimes I lost, even though I was eating a ton. Subjective. I was eating a ton and still not gaining that much. So then, I started to think like, why am I not gaining? Looked at my Apple Watch that I started wearing during my relapse because honestly I just wanted to know how much I was walking around. But then I kept on wearing it because I realized that I was walking way too much. Not like excessively, like not like pacing around my room or stuff like that I used to do. But more just like I could afford to be more sedentary right now kind of thing. I put myself this goal that I would do less than 5,000 steps a day, which for me was a really big deal because I used to set myself a ridiculous amount of steps to do per day in order to control my weight, but I just told myself I need to do less than this. So that also became like kind of a game where it was like, oh, I cannot pass this. Or else, I'm not going to get better kind of thing. For me, this is what works because I'm a very, very, very competitive person, very driven person, and once I'm motivated, I'm hella motivated as a person. I knew that if I were to set myself up some kind of competition that it would work. And it did, because once I started reducing my walking, my activity in general, I started to gain a lot faster. So within the first 2 weeks, I think I gained almost 10 pounds, if not more than 10. But I was still a little bit away from being at a healthy weight, and I knew in the back of my mind that 15 pounds was like ideal. Like it would be really, really good for 5 weeks, like amazing for 5 weeks on my own, like not even in like day program treatment or anything. I'm just doing outpatient, so I do like 1 group a week for an hour kind of thing. I knew I had to gain 15 pounds, and I knew that I had to do it. I wanted to do it quick, like ASAP. So I set myself a goal. I was like, in 5 weeks, I will have gained 15 pounds. Very concrete goals is like the ongoing theme of this video on how to recover. And I still kept on gaining because your body has a natural set point. Now I'm pretty close to my natural set point, which I'm super happy about, super proud of, friggin' proud of what I did, so don't undermine my success. No, I'm kidding. Well, actually, I'm not kidding. Don't be mean. I worked really hard. Basically, what I did, like food-wise, and exercise-wise, which was like none. Not even walking to school kind of thing. Yeah, other than that, like I don't know, it didn't seem like it wasn't a problem this time, it's as if I didn't really care, because I knew that I had to get back to healthy weight anyways. But I did have a lot of like, I don't know, like loneliness, because like after meals I would just be like, so what do I do now? I don't know, it's like that was more my problem, was like after meals or before meals, anxiety or whatever, but that wasn't even that present. And how I dealt with that was being a lot more social, being more positive, seeing people. For me that's huge. I saw so many friends in the past month that I had like kind of disconnected with. With like my relapse and stuff, and it's just like I missed out on so much that I could have experienced. I had a lot of fun with my friends, but I'm not gonna lie, the first couple of times that I did like get out of my house and like be more social, hang out with people, go out kind of thing, I did not enjoy it. Like I wanted to leave ASAP, like the first couple of times I did it, but after that it did get easier, and then it got to the point where like I always wanted to see people. Like I'm always down to hang out now. It's like you kind of have to get the train going, and then once it starts going, it's like hard for it to stop. That's kind of how I see it. Like once you do the first step, which is to eat, everything else kind of falls into place and becomes a lot easier. But other than that, because you clearly cannot be hanging out with friends all the time or going out, because A, that gets expensive, and B, you want some alone time too. When you're alone, what I've learned to do is take care of myself. Something I always used to do was distract myself when I'd be alone, but now I'm learning that it's okay to feel lonely, and that it's important to feel it too, because if you're always distracting yourself while you feel a certain emotion, well then every time you feel that emotion you're going to want to distract yourself, blah, blah, blah. I've started taking more care of myself in general. It's like basic things like shaving, doing my makeup, getting ready for the day, doing my nails, like just stuff like that. Taking care of yourself, just like little things, can make a huge difference. Bigger than you can imagine. Like, I used to think that I could like just kind of get by with never taking off my makeup or shit like that, but like you feel so much better when you take care of yourself. But yeah, that's basically what I did this past month. I know that it's kind of vague, pretty vague actually. So if you guys have any more questions, post them down below in the comments, and if I have enough like questions, I will make a Q&A, either about this topic of like coming back from my relapse. It's pouring outside. Anything else, like just random questions, I guess. I'm probably gonna think of 1,000,001 things after I'm done filming, but for now, I will let you guys go. Hopefully this video was helpful or inspiring, maybe, or I don't know, just motivating, maybe. Because I was rock bottom, guys, and I got out of it on my own. And if I can do it, so can you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Because, you know, I post once in a while, but I do still post. I'm still alive and doing well, apparently. Follow me on my social media, because I'm really interesting. I hope you guys have a nice day or night or whatever when you're watching this video, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!